Hi everyone, Aaron here for Zollotech, and this past week we had a bunch of announcements from Apple. We'll talk about Siri 2.0 and even iPhone SE 4. This is your weekly Apple news update for the week of July 22nd, 2024. Now, the Windows issues many people faced over the past weekend related to using Crowdstrike antivirus software has since been patched, and Microsoft has actually made available a patch as well. And while I did mention the overall issue this past weekend, it's since been patched, and it seems most systems are back up and running, but it did affect things such as airlines, hotel check-ins, and much more. Now, Apple recently released a new Apple Card promotion of 6% cash back at Exxon, Mobil, and EV charging stations. They sent it out in an email, and if you're using Apple Wallet with an Apple Card, and it's something that I actually use regularly, it will just automatically give you 6% back on things such as gas and EV charging. So that's something I've been taking advantage of over the past week or so, and it's running through about another week or a couple weeks into August. Now, Chris Lawley this past week actually had a chance to interview Jenny Chen and Ty Jordan at Apple, talking about iPadOS 18 features. It's a really great comprehensive interview, and he's a friend of the channel, so be sure to check it out if you're interested in hearing more about iPadOS 18 features with math notes and more. It's definitely something that's pretty great to watch. It's got a lot of in-depth information and much more. Apple released a new immersive video for Vision Pro this past week with more content coming very soon. They had an announcement on Apple Newsroom where it says new Apple immersive video series, films, concerts, and more set to premiere on Apple Vision Pro beginning July 18th. Now, this is content I've been waiting for. It seems like it's very severely lacking on the Vision Pro, but when they do debut, they're very, very good. They're about 6-minute films in 180 degrees, and they look great. This recent one has to do with hot air ballooning. It makes you sort of feel like you're there. The previous one was parkour, and you'll see it says Apple Vision Pro users will experience breathtaking series, films, and more spanning action adventure, documentary, music, scripted, sports, and travel. And this is something I would love to see much more of. So I can't wait to see this. Hopefully we'll see more and more. You can see the hot air balloons here, wildlife, and much more. So that's something this severely needs and really gives it value when you're using it, something you don't get to experience elsewhere. Another announcement Apple had this week has to do with Apple scoring a record 72 Emmy Award nominations. You'll see that's for outstanding limited series such as Lessons in Chemistry, The Morning Show, and Slow Horses. So lots of great shows on TV Plus, but 72 plus nominations is pretty big, and I think they'll continue to expand their library as well. Another announcement they actually made on the Apple Newsroom is that Apple is helping launch Bay Area housing innovation funds to expedite construction of hundreds of new affordable homes. They're giving $2.5 billion to help bring in affordable homes, make it a little bit more affordable to live in that area since it's extremely expensive. And they said that we believe everyone deserves a place to call home, and we're proud that Apple's $2.5 billion initiative is supporting more affordable housing. So that's something we should see very soon, and great for those that live in that state. Now, as I mentioned before, it looks like we're going to get more and more content in the TV app with Apple TV Plus, and Apple's looking to maybe bring in more and more movies or films working with different studios. So that's something we could see very soon, according to Bloomberg. They're also, as I mentioned in the weekend follow-up video, really pushing the NBC Olympics this week. So as we scroll down, and as you can see, there's a whole Summer Olympics portal here. So if we go into it, you'll be able to see all the different events such as soccer, gymnastics, swimming, and diving, and just scroll through, see what you want to see, when it actually begins, and you can see the dates here. So this should be coming very soon, and this will span across everything from the TV app to podcasts and the news app as well. Now, before we talk about other news, the weekly deals this week are still going on for AirPods Pro 2. They're down to $189.99, sold directly by Apple on Amazon. AirPods Pro 3 are still $139.99, and AirPods Max have deals as well. There's additional deals I'll link in the description for MacBooks, iPads, and more, so if you've been looking for any of these, be sure to check them out in the description. Now, iPhone 15 adoption has not been as strong as it had the same time last year with the iPhone 14 models. That doesn't include every single model, but this is according to a report from the Consumer Intelligence Research Partners. It seems that people are less interested, or maybe since the WWDC 2024 iOS 18 announcement regarding Apple Intelligence, how it's not coming to all devices, maybe that slowed adoption, so people either are frustrated or just waiting for iPhone 16 to make sure they can get all of the different features. So maybe instead of getting an iPhone 15 Plus now, they know it won't actually get Apple Intelligence, so maybe they're waiting to upgrade to an iPhone 16 Plus, which should support it. So we'll have to wait and see. Apple supposedly was expecting this to be a big driver of sales, despite saying that it wasn't a decision rather to sell iPhones, but more due to limitations of hardware. Many people don't seem to agree with that or believe that, but it seems it does require a lot of RAM to run AI models, and you need at least 8 gigs of RAM or so. And even the next iPhones are expected to possibly get more RAM because of that. So at this point, it looks like we're probably going to see pretty good sales for iPhone 16, but again, according to a new report by Ming-Chi Kuo, it seems that some of the actual orders when it comes to the overall supply chain don't necessarily reflect that. Some people think they were going to sell tons of them and make more than they would before, but it seems that they're just getting ready to make the same amount of iPhones that they did last year. So it's hard to say if they're expecting Apple Intelligence to drive those sales, as some reported. As far as Siri 2.0 being delayed, I've mentioned that before, but wanted to clarify a few things as there seems to be some confusion. Siri 2.0 is not Apple Intelligence. While Siri 2.0 will utilize some Apple Intelligence features to operate, Apple Intelligence itself should be in beta soon and will debut with iOS 18 in beta form as well. However, many of the features should be enabled. Siri 2.0 will not be and will be updated later. So I wanted to clarify that, as many people were curious about this. They thought it would be delayed already. And you'll see here that we have Siri with sort of the outline, but that's just one part of it where you could ask questions. However, Apple Intelligence deeply integrates with other systems, such as Mail. You'll see here as we scroll down, you have Genmoji. It integrates with things such as those images you can create, with Safari, and much more. In fact, you can see some of it already with Siri articles, with it summarizing, and so they're not exactly the same thing. So you'll be able to use them in some way on your device, but not with Siri 2.0, with maybe asking questions to ChatGPT. We don't have a timeline, as Apple hasn't specified yet, but it looks like we'll get at least some of these features in a beta fairly soon, and then we'll move on to probably Siri 2.0 sometime next year. Now, when it comes to releases this week, I would expect iOS 17.6 RC as soon as Monday or Tuesday. Based on what we had last week, I would expect it sometime around Tuesday. However, we could see it on Monday as well. That means in about a week or so, we could have iOS 17.6 released to the public, probably around the 29th of July. Now, we could also expect iOS 18 Beta 4 and iOS 18 Public Beta 2 right around the 29th as well. Apple typically waits 2 weeks or so after the first public beta of iOS 17 or iOS 18 before they actually push out Beta 2 and Beta 4. So that's the timeline I would expect, and then at least sometime in that week or the following week, I would expect iOS 17.7 Beta 1 as well if Apple continues to do what they've done every year. We'll have iOS 17.7 betas with a final release probably in late August, early September, and then iOS 18's public release sometime in the second or third week of September. That's typically what Apple does every year, and I would expect something similar. As far as other rumors this week, well, iPhone 16 may have upgraded chips, but it's still unclear whether or not the base model will have ProMotion. That's something many people have wondered about, and Apple definitely should include it, but it's questionable whether or not they will. You can get fairly inexpensive phones now from Nothing and other companies that have ProMotion or 120 Hz displays that cost far less than an iPhone, so I would hope they'll include it, but there's no guarantee. We're also hearing more information about the iPhone SE. The budget version of the iPhone is expected to get an update soon with iPhone SE 4th generation. However, recent rumors suggest that it will have 2 cameras instead of maybe just one, or at least a similar design to what we have with the iPhone 16. It's said to use basically the exact same back that we have with the iPhone 16 renders. So based on that, it could either have dual cameras or something else, and this is from a recent leak by Fixed Focus Digital on Weibo, just saying that the back is basically the exact same as the iPhone 16. So that could mean it just has a lower resolution for the cameras, or it includes both of the modern cameras. We don't really know, but there has to be something that's left out if they're also going to push the iPhone 16 and then an SE 4. So we'll have to wait and see what that is, but either way, it looks like it could have a very similar look, and maybe that's even for spatial video and photos on the Apple Vision Pro. We just don't know at this point. Now, many have asked, when will AirPods Pro get an update? We've seen discounts on AirPods Pro 2 for quite some time, yet we've had no upgrade at this point. It looks like, according to rumors earlier earlier this year, 2025 is what we can expect. However, with regular AirPods, it seems that they're going to upgrade them maybe with some noise canceling versions that are a little bit less expensive, AirPods 4 or AirPods 4 Lite, something along those lines. Those are expected later this year, probably around the iPhone launch. However, the Pros are not expected until next year, and then the Max headphones are expected to get USB-C. Hopefully they'll get some chip upgrades and things like that later this year. But the Pros expect them next year. The others expect them later this year if all of the actual rumors are correct. And so that's everything this week as far as the news so far. I'm looking forward to the next version of iOS 18 to see what we get as far as features. Hopefully Apple enables Apple Intelligence, at least in some way, with the new update to Mail and more. Let me know what you're looking most forward to in the comments below, and of course I'll link this wallpaper in the description like I normally do. If you haven't subscribed already though, please subscribe, and if you enjoyed the video, please give it a like. As always, thanks for watching. This is Aaron. I'll see you next time.